Parkour. Parkour! Parkour! What were you saying?
Oh, I was in
Parkour!
parkour.
I'm not as parkoury as you are, so I'll be Paul Walker, you can be other guy.
David Bell wasn't very parkour in this one either.
Parkourier than Paul Walker was.
Well, yeah.
Who's the parkouriest?
Is that a phrase?
So we went and saw District Brick 13, is that what you called it?
District Brick 13.
Brick
Mansions!
I knew that it was going to be a remake of District B13, but I didn't realize to what extent until, like, the opening scene started and it's two guys grilling a sausage and then a big bald guy with K2 tattooed in the back of his head rolls up. He's like, hey guys, making sausage. And I'm like, okay, I'll see this movie.
Yeah, this...
Oui, bien sûr, K2.
She knows French.
Vous avez le sausage? Oui, dis donc. Anyway. I don't know French.
Voulez-vous la movie?
Oui, j'ai acheté.
I don't know.
French acheté.
I obviously don't know French. So yeah.
I said, yes, I bought it.
Très bien.
So, okay, we're joshing because this movie was all kinds of terrible.
It was really bad.
Really pretty bad.
It was exactly what you would expect from a movie being remade by a lot of the same people, but add like 10 years to everyone.
And, like, maybe I didn't notice that the acting was bad in the first one because it was in French, and I was reading the subtitles to myself, and I have an excellent inner voice. But, like, out loud in English, it was, like, some of the lines were similar, and they were terrible.
Well, I think one of the big problems of this is, okay, so it tries to be incredibly hip and with it.
And it takes itself
and
pretty seriously.
Urban, and people are saying things like slang that no one says.
People say bumperclat.
Well, I mean, like...
But this is a different issue.
Like,
what are you referring to?
Well, like, okay, about the opening scene of this is, yeah, like, the scene from the original where
I
there's
will
a couple
give it
guys
that, though. The sausages in this one did
sausage.
look a lot more delicious than the sausage in the original.
Yeah, the first one looked like they were grilling up,
grilling
like,
a piece
Slim
of beef
Jims. This one actually looked like oh, they went
like
out...
it's a genuine sausage that they are
yeah,
grilling.
they went to the store. Apparently, this is a shithole, but they still have, like, Johnsonville brats.
And they're like, you know what, I got a hankering. I know we're in the middle of our henchman shift, but let's just pop out real quick.
It's like, I
Fire up the formanizer.
I really need some Polish sausage right now.
Oh no, it's ambush.
It's like, I had this kielbasa. It's like, whatever. I mean, come on. It's whatever. But yeah, like, during that scene, like, the guy who's grilling is about as white as me, complexion-wise. I mean, he has, like, cornrows and, like, a bandana and, you know...
It is Detroit.
Like,
I don't know
like
anything
white
about
people in Detroit have. Back me up on this, Michigan. And, no, but he's, like, standing there, like, they see somebody pulling up. It's like, yo, whose hoopty whip is that, G-Dog? It's like...
I didn't even hear the hoopty whip.
Well, he didn't say that exactly, but, like, it was something like that. It was something, like, very... off. Mm-hmm. It's like the sort of thing, like, no one would be saying that.
It
like,
was a pretty hoopty whip.
Well, it sounded like movies like
when they focus group it and they're like, yeah, it should be more urban here.
Yeah, it's like, they should sound more like black people, like how I think my grandma would think black people sound. Like, okay, let's do that one. And that's how they talk. They talk like how your grandma thinks that every black guy talks.
Now, all the bad guys in this movie were black people. And those seem to be the only black people in this movie. But I have to assume that
Well, ultimately the most evil guys were white guys in suits.
This is true. This is true.
So they are the greater evil.
I was starting to say, like, it's understandable, I can't be mad at them for not making all the bad guys white, But I was a little upset feminism-wise. And I was mentioning a little bit when we were talking to Brad there in the movie theater, because, I'm not really interested in opening the dialogue and rampant sexism in action movies, because, most characters tend to be, aggressively stereotypical in movies like this. But, a couple of the things they changed from the original to this one didn't need to be changed unless you're looking at it from the point of view of someone who finds ladies scary. So, it starts out, and, in the original, Leto? Is that his name?
Well, yeah, in the land of unnecessary changes, in the original movie, his name is Leto, and in this one, his name is Lino. I think they were trying to trick us into thinking maybe he was, Hispanic?
No, they said he was.
But then they keep mentioning
French
that he's French. Yeah, they made him something like he was from not from France, because I don't know why not from France, but from French Polynesia, or the French area of
Cajun
the Caribbean or something like that. They made sure to definitely mention that it was not actual France.
But so in the original, the main female character Lola, who gets kidnapped and held as a trophy, is his little sister, and in the original, yeah, she gets degraded and ultimately
she's
chained
turned into a
and
junkie.
heroined like a heroined dog. But
like all those heroin dogs.
You take a dog, you get it addicted to heroin. But she's kind of like a scrappy, interesting little character. When they're trying to kidnap her, she's jacking him in the face. And one of my absolute favorite parts of the movie is when, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When they're when they've got her captured, they're walking her through the barracks of all the henchmen. They're like, ooh, so sexy, we want your panties. And so then when her and Leto get the main bad guy and they're walking him out on gunpoint, she makes everyone stop so she can get the guy who's at the panty line, take her panties off, and just stuff them in his mouth at gunpoint.
Oh, then
which is amazing.
Then tells him to chew.
Yes. But in this one, she just kind of gets knocked out and put in a trunk and then hauled off to the bad guys, where a new character has been introduced by the name of Razor,
who is sort of if K2 is the main drug dealer's
idiot lackey
number one henchman, all of a sudden this Razor chick is his number one henchman, who's actually far more competent than he is.
She's also batshit. She's his. K2 is his incompetent number one henchman. Razor is his rabid lesbian henchman, who's basically there.
Also, she's a rabid lesbian.
To beat up women so he doesn't have to. Now, I was telling Brad inside, this movie does technically pass the Bechdel test, because at one point Razor and Lola are having a conversation about how Lola may be Brazilian and what implications that might have on her vagina situation, and also how much fun Razor's going to have raping the shit out of her.
Cause she gonna rape her.
Because she's gonna rape her, because that's what lesbians do.
Again, they focus tested this and thought, well, how does your grandma think lesbians are?
Your grandma's fucked up, dude.
You take that back. Granny Carol is a saint.
No, sorry. Imaginary racist, sexist grandmas.
Oh, yeah, no. Imaginary, still lives in the 1950s grandma. Yeah, no, she...
Oh, those lesbians always wearing their leather biker gear and...
That's all she wears is,
pointy sticks on nice, innocent girls.
Leather gear, she looks like she stepped out of fucking Mortal Kombat.
She looks like she fell into a box of belts and then just kind of got back up and decided to go kill a crazy.
But yeah, she's,
There's only one reason to have introduced that character, and it wasn't because they didn't think that there was enough of a feminine presence in this movie, and it was because they didn't want, from what I can figure out, they didn't want a dude beating the shit out of this woman. But introducing a female character to beat the shit out of this, specifically to beat the shit out of this woman, and really for no other purpose, other than to turn eviler than the evil guy and die horribly, is kind of just as bad.
Well, and it's all. I mean, I don't know what your problem is. I mean, they're introducing several new strong female leads into this.
Yeah, there's Razor, there's Lola, there's 3 Asian drug packing mute girls. There's help me out here.
They're entrepreneurial individuals who are providing for their families.
In the nightgowns and gas masks.
Who are probably also drug mules. But yeah, no, well, they also, like, because of that, though, like, because Lola, in the first one, in the original, she basically has, like, her big scene there, with, like, the whole panty chewing thing, but after that, like, she gets knocked out, carried back, and then she's just incapacitated the rest of the movie. She's just laying around, like, drooling on a leash. But in this one, like, they decided to have her, like, a very strong character. Like, she's not Lino's sister, but, like,
she's
former
his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, former girlfriend.
They broke up because he wouldn't leave the streets.
And she doesn't even live in brick mansions. She just lives in Detroit.
Yeah, she's a soda hop or something.
She's a waitress at some, like, retro place. Letty recognized it. Like, she used to live in Detroit. She recognized the place.
But, so the henchmen go out. If you've seen B-13, you've seen this movie, basically.
Yeah.
Just a better version of this movie. So, like, they go and they get her and they take her back because they want to get Leto because he destroyed all their drugs. And then he, like... I'm just exhausted talking. It's like, there's not... The fun about this movie is not the plot, although it does have an interesting twist at the end. The fun is the parkour bits. And, like... All
of that has been dumbed down.
Neutered?
Like, this
Neutered
movie...
and 300 did.
This movie assumes from the beginning that you are incapable of following the plot of the original. Well, because, I mean, and I don't feel... I mean, okay, spoiler alert, the mayor's trying to blow it up.
Yeah.
There.
It's basically
I'm sorry,
like
the original has been out for
gigantic-
fucking years. It's your fault if you haven't
This gigantic ghettified, like, area that they've fenced off. And he wants to build high-rise buildings there, so he...
Basically,
sends
they're
in a
doing the
bomb.
RoboCop route and trying to build a new Detroit on the ashes of old Detroit.
Brad sent us a picture from the movie.
Brad's sending us pictures from the movie.
But
yeah, but that is like a 11th hour reveal in the first movie. Like they're starting to deactivate the bomb, and then they realize, like, wait a second, shit doesn't add up. That's really coincidental. Like the deactivation code in the original is like 10 characters long, and it's like today's date and like the you know, like grid location of like B-13 on a map or something like that.
Damn you villains and your love for numerology.
In this one, they get the code to deactivate this neutron bomb, which twist with going with the neutron bomb.
That doesn't seem smart from either side of the fence.
But well, I mean, it wasn't like a nuclear device. It wasn't like no, they go out of their way to mention that it is a neutron bomb, which I think it may have been in the first one too. But even then, I don't know. Keeping if that is correct, I think it might be. But keeping it that in this one, it just felt odd. Like, you know, it sounds silly, but yeah. So anyways, it's kind of bomb, and they get the deactivation code, and it's the zip code for that area, like that project housing. Like, there was no, like, wait, this looks familiar. I don't know, man. This might be, like, no, it's like, it comes up as like, well, that's our zip code. This is bullshit.
And then Pollock is like, no, it's not. And so they punch each other in the head for a little while.
But, like, with the original, like, that is, like I said, like, it's to that point in the movie, and then they suddenly realize, like, wait, the truck that they said they stole didn't show any signs of a break-in. Oh my god, you might be onto something. I think they're trying to fuck us.
And, like, even more so for us as the audience, they also had, like, a little aside conversation between Tremere or whatever his name was and K2, where he's like, K2, tell me that story again about how you found that truck just waiting by the side of the road with the keys in it. And K2's like, well, I'll tell you.
Well, I'll tell you. So we got a call.
Not just that, but we'll flash back to it real quick.
Yeah, because, like, there is like a trail of like, yes, we realize the mayor is doing this throughout the movie because like there's this scene where like this is after like Paul Walker is there like trying to like deactivate it. And yeah, like Tremaine and K2 were having this conversation. Like, tell me again how you found this. Like, oh no, it was crazy easy. We got a call from the government and said like, hey, there's this abandoned truck there full of like really cool stuff.
You should probably just
so you should go take it. So we went there and it was unlocked and the keys were in the ignition. So we came back here with it and turns out it was this giant bomb. It's like, huh. Okay, I thought that's how we got it. Thanks.
But Ma Jamaica didn't raise no dummy, so Tremaine proceeded to strap said bomb to a rocket and aimed it back at the mayor's house.
But like even from like literally the first scene of the movie is in the mayor's office, and he's talking about like his plan to build new Detroit on the ashes of old Detroit, and there's even the conversation with him and like the like I don't know like city council board or something like, but Mr. Mayor, this is all well and good, but
that's where the brick mansions.
This is where brick mansions is. It's like to put this here, you would have to get rid of brick mansions, and the mayor's like,
I assure you, as the mayor of Detroit, that all of our citizens will be taken care of.
Dun, dun, dun.
Brick mansions.
So like, oh, so he's gonna blow up brick mansions. Okay.
He's like, not gonna let that sink in or anything, just kind of serve it up on a platter.
So yeah, the first scene of the film is the mayor basically saying, I'm going to blow this up. Oh, by the way, there's a bomb there now. I don't know.
We should send one random cop in there to arm it. This is like... Was the plot this convoluted in the original? Because I don't remember it being so. Maybe I was dazzled by all the parkour.
Well, in the original, like...
Because think about if this plan had gone exactly as they wanted it to. They drove this truck into District B13, set it up so it would look like the timer was going off, and then when it got to 0, the bomb would explode. Then, send one lone cop in with a wild card sidekick to what they think is disarm the bomb, but in actuality will be arming it.
Yes.
Why don't they just make it so it arms?
Because then they can spin the story that, like, because the initial setup was like that was going to be their thing, is like, you know, they would say like it was stolen, that we sent in our best man to disarm it. Unfortunately, he didn't make it in time and it blew up. Too bad.
But then, as the press, my first question would be, why were you driving a truck with a bomb in it through this city in the first place?
A hero cop has died.
By a bomb that you put in a truck and then drove through the city. Comments?
No commento.
And you just shit her in the face, because that's how you roll. Well, apparently you can just be mayor of Detroit this movie no matter what you've done, because by the end, the bad guy is running for mayor, and we've seen him kill several people.
Yeah, it's a bit odd with how things actually work in this reality, because they set up this bizarre, convoluted backstory that Paul Walker's character, his father was a cop before him, and he died raiding one of Tremaine's drug houses. And because of that violent act of aggression, that's why the city erected the wall around brick mansions. And now Paul Walker has dedicated his life to becoming a cop as well, becoming the best undercover narcotics cop in the world, so that he can eventually kill Tremaine. And then when he finally meets him face to face, they become best friends within 5 minutes, because he's like, you killed my dad. I'm like, oh, they're still saying I did that? No, I didn't do that. It was his friends. Like,
oh, okay.
Well, let's go.
Even though I killed every single other person involved, except for K2. Because he had, like, it showed in the beginning, he's, like, taking out his brown contacts, because he was, like, undercover, and then goes over to his gigantic wall, you know, the wall of, like, pictures and string.
Pictures and
that
maps
everyone
and
seems
strings.
to have when they have a vendetta. And it's got, like, a picture of K2, and a picture of Razor, and a picture of Billy the Greek, or whatever his name was, and then a picture of Tremaine. And so he, like, crosses off Billy Greek, and then circles Tremaine, because he's gonna go get him. So, honestly, I can't remember where I was going with this.
Well, it's kind of odd too. Like
It's convoluted. I think is where I'm going with
his
it.
big wall of stuff, like all the stuff was spiderwebbing out from Tremaine. He crosses one guy's picture off over here and is like, nah, fuck, I'm just gonna go for Tremaine next.
Should have done this in the first place.
It's like, I don't know why I didn't start with him. Spent all this time and effort capturing these other guys.
I think I was trying to get to Tremaine so we can discuss his accent. Now, you said he was played by the RZA?
The RZA, yes.
And Tremaine is supposed to be a Jamaican gentleman, but I guess RZA can't do a Jamaican accent, so he keeps making these, like, perfunctory efforts, but for the most part he's just using a normal voice, except every once in a while he'll break out, like, a jaw or a bumperclot, and it's just shoehorned in there, and there's my favorite / least favorite line in the movie is delivered by him. Because throughout the entire movie, he's calling Paul Walker's character, oh, you're the sheriff of Detroit, trying to look out for everybody. And so, Paul Walker and Leto are, like, shenanigansing, and Tremaine finds out about it, pulls out his gun, he says, damn, now I gotta shoot the sheriff and the deputy. Exit frame.
And the award goes
scene.
to... But yeah, this
Hurt my brain right here.
This whole movie was just it was farcical. Like it was very akin to, like, if you would take one of your favorite movies, because I mean honestly, like District B13 is one of my favorite action flicks. Mm-hmm. David Bell and Cyril Raffaelli in the first one are phenomenal. Like the action scenes are fantastic.
You see the little blonde cop?
Bald. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's got blondie. Anyway. I liked him. He was parkoury, you know.
Yeah, they were a good match. They had, like, really similar skill sets, and it made for a really high impact, high intensity, very quick action film. This one though, like, Paul Walker is not even remotely close in speed or skill to David Bell, so it's very off balance. So what they do for most of it, because you can tell, like, either David Bell is holding back or he's just doing, like, very small things instead of, like...
Plus he's getting older, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's like... I forget exactly what year the original came out, but, I mean, it's been something like 5 to 10 years at least. Mm-hmm. Somewhere in that range. Like, I know it came out, like, sometime in, like, the 2000s, but, like, I mean, it wasn't recent. But,
Excuse me.
But yeah, it's you can tell, like, he's obviously, like, taking everything really slow. Like in the original, like, he's actually jumping off of buildings and landing. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's a scene where he manages to go from, like, the roof of, like, a 2-story building to street level in about 5 seconds by jumping off of, like, all these different things. In this one, he's either on wires or it's CG, or he's just jumping over like oh, a cardboard box. Hup. Oh,
Parkour.
Hup.
Parkour.
It's small stuff, but I think it's honestly a lot of it is to keep him on a scale that's believable next to Paul Walker, because, like, it's very much the same in the same vein of what they did to Jet Li in Lethal Weapon 4, because when that came out, like, he was at the top of his game. Like, he was still really young. He was fast as fucking hell. But they had to make it, like, they had to have him go incredibly slow from what he's used to, so that it would look like...
believable that he could be...
Yeah, so that it looked like fucking Danny Glover could even lay a hand on him.
I feel like you may be giving this movie a little bit too much credit, because, I mean, in terms of slowing down to match Paul Walker, I don't think they paid that much attention to, like, matching them, or even matching Paul Walker to his stunt double. You know, because, like... First of all, I want to mention the backflips that he kept randomly breaking out when this was not a character who would perpetrate a backflip.
Yeah, there was it's a scene from the original, but you can really believe it in the original. But yeah, they're kind of in between a bunch of guards, and they're being escorted down this really skinny hallway, and then in tandem they grab the guy in front of them, kind of hop up on his shoulders, and then backflip off. And David Bell, for what he's seen of Paul Walker's character throughout the
I don't
film
know why
so
he'd
far,
imagine.
there's nothing to indicate that this man can do a backflip, that he has the capability of doing a backflip, that he's ever even attempted doing a backflip, save maybe on like a friend's trampoline when he was like 13.
In fact, there's indication that he can't, because at that one point he like, okay, let's escape up through this wall, and like jumps up, and then through like an opening in the top, Paul Walker's like, and like climbs up through the ductwork and crashes through the ceiling on the other side. That I thought was funny and in keeping with the character, but then I think that what it is, it's scenes from the original that they wanted to use, despite the fact that they'd made other changes that made those scenes unreasonable.
Yeah.
Like Tremaine shooting that one guy for fun, because he turns out to be the mayor at the end, or Paul Walker, doing that backflip, or like the steering wheel scene, which, made sense with the original guy, but with Paul Walker, it looked like the putties attacking in the original Power Rangers, because it was just like them just kind of waiting for their turn to stick their hand in the steering wheel while he kind of like did circles with it, And it made me sad because I love Paul Walker, but like he did not belong in this movie.
No, and like I said, like it's wildly unbelievable. Yeah, when certain stunts happen, because again, like the backflip thing, he just suddenly, like, after showing no like acrobatic skills in any way, shape, or form, just suddenly is like, oh, okay, backflips, grabs the dude, jumps up on his shoulders, he just flips back.
Stunt double.
It's like, sure, why not? Why fucking wouldn't that have happened? But yeah, it's I don't know, like the whole thing, like it feels like all of the fights are slowed down. All of the stunts are either obviously like wire worked or CG'd or,
like I said, 300 did, where they kept like
trick frames. Yeah, you show anything in slow motion, it looks cooler instantly.
Mm-hmm. Even if the kick landed about here-ish.
Yeah. But
well, that one Asian guy was selling it when he was like he was fighting Paul Walker, I think, when Paul Walker was in Incognito, and they were having to fist fight, and so Paul Walker like throws cocaine in his face, and his reaction was this.
Like, oh my god, you just threw cocaine in my eyes.
He was reacting like that to everything, and that made him my automatic favorite. Because if you're gonna be that guy in that movie, be the fuck out of that guy.
But so everything, like all the fights and everything are slowed down, but the story is chopped up and sped up to such a degree that there's just giant lapses everywhere. Like things happen, and they should happen because they happened in the original movie, but they skipped the part where any of that was set up. So it's like, and I know it's a pretty quick scene in the original, but like when like Leto shows up after they're like, okay, we kidnapped the girl, now we just need to get in contact with him,
Skylight.
Yeah, like in this one, I don't know, like it felt so incredibly rushed that it's just like he's just instantly in the room. It was like he was just standing there the whole time practically. But like I don't know, like it just, I don't know, things were incredibly rushed and scissored around, kind of weird. Like these two never have a chance to develop any sort of bond with each other. They really don't. Like as far as like talking,
I can tell it's like they punched each other in the head enough times that through the concussion it seemed like they were friends.
Yeah, I mean, so there's nothing, and even as the movie goes, they even set up that Paul Walker doesn't even need him. Like it
sure doesn't.
It's because
all that Leto does is like they're in the room and he's like, we need a plan, and Leto's okay, give me your phone. Boop boop beep boop boop. We're coming. Also, I have a cop and he knows we have a bomb.
Well, I mean,
useful.
He sells them like that in the original too. I mean,
it made more sense in the original. Well, again, maybe it was because it was in French and they all looked so sure
no,
of themselves.
There was a lot more dialogue too, building all that up, like that conversation where like he, like chains him to the thing. Like there's a lot more dialogue right there. Like it's like, look, there's a bomb, we gotta stop it. Oh, okay.
My favorite conversation in the movie. My van. You be the other one.
No, it's my van.
No, my van!
Get out of my van. It's my van.
Stop getting in my van! Punch!
Yeah, they fight over the van. I don't know.
No, we are not paraphrasing. That is the conversation that takes place during the fight.
Yeah. My van.
My van. Look, I'm driving the van. Get in if you want. Conflict resolution.
Fuck, what was I just saying?
Why did they make Lola be... I didn't mean to derail your thought train, I'm sorry. While you're thinking, why did they make Lola be the love interest instead of the sister? All it did was piss me off, and I don't see how it helped the plot at all. Except that maybe the guy who played Leto was like, I want the girlfriend this time.
God, I can't remember where I was going.
We were talking about the plot felt really, really rushed because there was dialogue pieces missing. Nope.
Yeah, I got nothing.
It's gone.
Although I'm still pretty sure. Like, I don't know for anything. I really don't. For all I know, this movie was start to finish completed like last year. I don't know. But everything about it, like, just like small things, just kept making me think, like, this movie is potentially like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, you mentioned the phone.
Yeah, it's a thing that, like, it kind of bugs me sometimes in movies. Like, you'll see a thing and it's, you know, it's like, you keep thinking it's like present day, and then somebody pulls out like a bizarre little like Kyocera flip phone. It's like, the fuck did you get that? But like, I don't know why it was bugging me so bad, but like, a couple people, it shows them like using their phones, and it's obviously like early model iPhones. I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, it's an iPhone, whatever. I don't give a shit. But then I noticed the phone that like Paul Walker has in the movie, and he keeps like passing around during the whole like, it's like, no, put in the code, don't put in the code scene, is this little Nokia candy bar phone that I had like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, it's the same phone that I had when we were making Paranoia. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it was old.
And this is like an important phone like an integral plot phone.
And it was just like the sort of thing.
So you'd think
like,
it'd be state of the art.
Well, like, and Jillian even had like a point. Like, well, maybe it was just like was it just a little like
disposable
Go phone, like a little drop phone or something like that? Like, it's like, no, like this was just legitimately like he was using it earlier in the movie too. Like, this is like
his phone,
and it was just the sort of thing like. It was very recognizable for me because the phone is laughably small. It is teeny fucking tiny.
He shouldn't have even needed a phone. He had his Go-Go Gadget wristwatch, which he used all of twice.
He has like this fucking James Bond wristwatch.
It's like it's got like a button for, okay, we're at the spot, you guys, a button for shit's going cray, and a little pulley-outy sticky thing for picking locks that he only uses when the plot calls for it.
Yeah, it's a little odd. But yeah, it bugged me, like, seeing that phone. It's like, that makes no sense for that to be the phone that he has. It really, really didn't. And the only thing I could think of was, holy shit, I think this movie was made 5 years ago when that phone was actually kind of popular.
It brought to you by Nokia and Under Armour.
Yes. Under Armour, written on David Bell's ass.
Yes. Which we see a lot of.
Oh,
you remember?
Yeah, I remember the thing I was going on about.
David Bell's ass.
Yes.
Called it.
No. Why he's useless to the film. And it's not because he doesn't really do much of anything aside from like parkour. Is that in the original one, they call in. Which I think is odd. They changed David Bell's character's name in this one, but the cop character still named Damien. they bring him in and tell him, like, look, we need to go into the district and stop this device. And his thing is like I've never been there. I don't know my way around. I don't know the inside layout of this guy's place to try to find the bomb. And it's like, oh, it's okay. We have a local who's been inside the drug dealer's big place. He's like, oh, fantastic. You know, they pair them together and then they go. In this one, it's like, Damien, have a seat. So you know your way around Brick Mansion's like, yeah, pretty well.
And in case
I've been there a lot.
Here is a GPS coordinate system that you can take with you.
Yeah, here's a little GPS tracker that you have. Earlier in the film, like, they make mention of, like, you know, like, he's been there on, like, drug runs before. It's like, they have no problem mentioning, like, oh, no, he knows his way around. He could do this by himself. Like, oh, well, we're going to give you a partner anyway.
He's kind of a fucker. And also, he killed a cop.
And so it's just... It's one of those things, like, it made no sense why they would pair him up together. Mm-hmm. It'd be like if you remade The Karate Kid, but...
Ralph Macchio already knows karate.
But yeah, like, he already has, like, a brown belt or something. Like, he knows what he's doing. Like, oh, we'll go see Mr. Miyagi still.
He will teach you a move no can defend.
It's an odd thing, like, because it's the whole reason it's a buddy cop thing in the first one is because one knows his way around and the other one knows what's actually going on. Mm-hmm. In this one, Paul Walker has all of the info, but it's a buddy cop film, so, I mean, here's a partner.
The power of friendship.
Go, leave. Okay. Get out of the car. You're done with this review.
I don't know the power of friendship. So, yeah, I'm ready for final thoughts.
Yeah, I cannot recommend this at all. It's bizarrely... It's like if you like if you had a dream about a movie, but you can't remember how exactly it goes, so your brain just fills in parts with, like, it's like, oh, well, on the way to go fight the bad guys, I stopped and talked to my grandpa for, like, an hour.
Oh, God, I forgot about the grandpa bit.
It's like, Grandpa, you should stop smoking.
I kept, like, making the face that the grandpa was making.
It's his smiling face. But yeah, I was like...
He smoked away all his teethers.
It literally is like if you're trying to remember how a movie goes, but if you can't remember a scene, you just insert something that you were thinking about earlier. It's like, and then they were going to a place, and then, I don't know, it cuts to, like, the mayor having dinner.
Jump cut 2.
It's just, it's bizarre things that are unnecessary, but to shoehorn that in and still have the running time shorter than the original... Like I say, like, they had to cut out actual important, well, not important, but, like, parts of the plot that kind of fill it in so that you get a better understanding of things instead of just, like, it's like, okay, now we're going to run into this building. Why? Because the bomb's over here. How do you know? Because that's where the bomb would be.
Because I have a telescope and I shall show it to you.
So it's a lot of, like, instead of being, like, a reasonably written plot for an action film, it's just a series of incredibly coincidental things which happen to be very lucky for them. All of the action is dumbed down to a laughable degree. It's just... nothing needed to be changed about it. It really didn't. Nothing they added anything to it of value. And the changes they made, like we've been saying, like, they were just bizarre and unnecessary. Like, at the end, the drug dealer, instead of dying, ends up
the mayor.
Yeah, ends up becoming Paul Walker's best friend, gives him a car.
I don't understand why he gave him a car.
Because, I don't know. And then he's running for the mayor of Detroit, despite the fact that he is a known murderer and drug dealer.
We admitted murderer and drug dealer.
Yeah, he's got no problem with that.
For me, like, I feel bad knocking it because, you know, I adore Paul Walker and this is one of his last movies. And you can tell that he's doing his level best in this. But it wasn't the part for him. And so that made me kind of sad. He was extremely charismatic. They kept, like, doing, like, the dreamy Paul Walker eyes thing, and I liked that. But ultimately, just watch the original. Plus, like, they kept, like, having him drive cars and crash into stuff with
That's
them.
the thing I wasn't sure when was a good time to broach that subject.
We're just gonna broach it now, because, like, he crashes an awful lot of cars into stuff.
Every car he gets behind the wheel of, he drives into a goddamn building.
Not the end car. Like, he then gets at the very end, he gets into a convertible and rides off into the sunset.
No, he drives up to his grandfather's house, which Letty was happy enough to point out to me, was a brick mansion.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah. His grandpa lives in a mansion, and also it's made out of brick. It's a brick mansion.
God damn it.
Symbolism.
But yeah, he kept, what? I think the guy who plays Leto, maybe he can't drive or something, because, like, when he was rescuing his girlfriend, he's like, here, you drive, and when Paul Walker was with him, he's like, here, you drive.
No, because in the original, they go to take that car, and shit gets a little hairy, so Sue Raffaelli drives off in the car, and then Paul Walker, David Bell goes running around doing parkour stuff until they meet back up, and then he gets in the car.
I'll meet you at parkour.
So it's like a on foot
parkour.
It's like there's an on foot chase scene and a driving chase scene at the same time, and then they meet back up.
See that? I don't remember that, but that sounds cool.
It was really nice. Also, a lot of American cars in this. Actually, every single car is like.
Well, it's in Detroit.
Well, I know, but it's the sort of thing like you could. It wasn't that it was odd that it was American cars. It was that it was odd that there was nothing but American cars.
No, but I mean, like, isn't Detroit like the car machinist?
It's the Motor City.
Yes.
But no, what I mean is, like, every car in it was like, oh, they're driving a Ford Mustang or a Ford F-150 or a Chrysler 300, or the bad guys, a lot of them have, like, souped up, like, old Cutlass Supremes or Monte Carlos, just all kinds of these cars. But not once do you see, like there's no Toyota or Hyundai or anything like that. Every car in this movie is made in America.
You have a better eye for that stuff than I do.
Well, it was odd. That's all I'm saying. Like, like they specifically went out of their way to not have any car that wasn't an American-made manufacturer. I just found it to be an odd thing.
I do have, like, one final thread, and then we can get to the previews because I wrote them down.
Oh, I was wondering if a child tried giving you a henna tattoo.
No, this is me writing stuff in the dark. I don't know what you want from me. This is where I scratched off Conan and wrote Hercules, because I originally wrote Conan. It's not Conan, it's Hercules. But I have to say, can we put a moratorium on the insane, evil, lesbian character? Because, like, for me,
Being an insane evil lesbian,
I don't like the way she was portrayed. No, the one grace of that character is that throughout the entire thing, after they introduced her, I'm like, if it turns out the reason Lola was made into a love interest for David Bell rather than a sister, so that Paul Walker could fuck the evil lesbian straight and also not evil anymore, I will burn this theater to the ground. And luckily that didn't happen. So that's good at least. But, like, there was no reason for other than to piss me off. That's my final thought. Fucking bullshit. Anyway, we've got The Purge 2.
which that trailer looks really fucking good.
It was a new trailer. I hadn't seen that one before. The ones that I'd seen before was just, like, the people in the car trying to escape. But this one actually had, like, this weird, like, slave auction.
There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie.
And, like, a guy with a porcelain mask that says God across the forehead. I'm really interested in watching this movie. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Same trailer.
The G of G.
Got
Yes.
got 6.
6 of 6.
Show them your scribbles. I don't know if that'll show up.
It's not gonna show up on the thing. Would you? Okay, take my word for it. I'm excited about Guardians of the Galaxy. I like the song that they play in particular. I'm a sucker for a good soundtrack, so like the entire preview had an amazing soundtrack. Plus Groot looks awesome, and I saw a flash of Amy Pond with her blue baldedness. She looks pretty cool.
Karen Gillian?
Yeah. Conan, no wait, Hercules.
Which still looks amazing. I think we have to go to review just like... I'm sorry, I still love that font where it's like black screen.
Hercules.
Hercules. I'm like, fuck right.
Who do you think you are?
Going by that,
I am Hercules.
Going by that font there, it looks like it should be a sequel to Drive.
It should be like a spin-off of Hercules, the TV show, with a Mr. Kevin Sorbo.
What else you got there?
I got Tom Cruise, Edge of Tomorrow ? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. Which I think that one looks really good.
It does look really good,
it's
but
basically
I still
like,
have no idea what it's about.
It essentially looks like the part of Oblivion that we didn't see where the aliens actually show up mixed with Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I thought it looked like source code in space.
Because, yeah, basically it's like he just keeps reliving that same little bit over and over again. Every time he dies, he goes back to the beginning of it. So
yeah, I didn't see that. That's when she's like shooting him in the face to reset him.
Yeah, he's working with Emily Blunt, who's training him. It's like, oh, you broke your leg training. He's like, no, I can walk it off. I was like, nope, I'll see you tomorrow.
Bang.
Boop. Right in the fucking head. Like,
it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I really like how that looks. Oh, I mean, I've always said this. I will watch about anything with Tom Cruise in it. I think he's a really good actor, and he picks some really good roles most of the time. It's insane Scientology, jumping on couches, like all the crazy bullshit that he's involved with outside of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Bizarre as shit, but I don't give a shit what he does as long as he keeps making good films.
After watching his awesome, sexy fucking on a train scene in Risky Business, I'm inclined to think more nicely on him. Look more kindly. That's the phrase I was looking for. I'm withholding judgment.
Have you seen Oblivion?
No. That's the one with Morgan Freeman got the little round glasses?
Yes.
Yes, I have not seen that.
You should watch it.
Okay. I will. Does he fuck on a train in that movie?
He fucks in a giant clear swimming pool that's like
Sold.
a mile above the earth.
Sold. Sold forever. The Signal. Okay, I have no idea what that movie was about.
Well, okay, this one threw me at first. Like, because they kept talking about, like, once you hear the signal, like, you're changed. Like, it's like, do you know how this is affected? Like I was
when did you hear it? Was strapped into like a chair and wheel him onto a bridge.
And like, they kept talking about this, and there's a really, really good movie from a couple of years ago called The Signal, which is about like this, signal is being broadcast that makes people crazy. It's a really fucking good movie.
You think it's a remake of that?
Well, no, it doesn't look like it has anything to do with it. But the way they were kind of branding it there at first, like having the guy, like he was all twitchy looking, I'm like, is this like a sequel to it? Until like
at the end, his face like explodes water or something.
I have no idea what's going on.
It's like a flash of something. They're like, and go, and his head goes.
Well, I think like it looks like he has sort of like, it basically looks like
face exploding water powers.
Well, I think it was supposed to be like an effect to show that he has some sort of like telekinetic shield. Like basically like that.
Like Bella Swan.
Well, no, like that whole ending scene, like with him, I don't know, like blowing out of a like hospital room and then going on a rampage and everything. I'm like, it's like.
Yeah, I thought for a second they were finally doing that Akira that they.
Yeah, the second half of this, like he's definitely like fucking Tetsuo Shima. Like he's going fucking at it. Either that or he's Kanye for the video for Power, in which Kanye was Tetsuo Shima.
No, I bet it's probably that.
It's probably that.
I bet he's Kanye. I haven't seen the music video for Power. I saw the...
You should.
I saw him do it live, where he had like bitches with gigantic fans to fan him with.
Yeah, no, that's not it. No, it literally is like if Kanye was in a live-action adaptation of Akira. There's even parts like they're like racing motorcycles, and it has like the tracer lights and everything.
I need to see this video.
It's great.
Well, I don't care what anyone thinks. I adore that man, but I'm surprised it doesn't have like teddy bears in it.
Oddly enough, I don't think it did, which would have been very fitting.
Just like the giant teddy bear. It was his chance. He could have done it.
But no, like it seemed like it was like basically like I don't know, like it seemed like if you changed Chronicle to where instead of them figuring out how their powers worked and all that, he gets captured by Lawrence Fishburne and poked and prodded till he goes crazy at the end. Mm-hmm. Is kind of how it came across. But I mean, it looks really interesting. It looked, at least by the it's a very compelling trailer. It's a very, very well made trailer, I thought.
I found it a little too frenetic for me, but it made me want to know more.
But yeah, it
made me want to know more and also have a headache.
It's intriguing, but I'm hoping that it falls more in the realm of like something like Chronicle and less in the realm of something like I Am Number 4.
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, everybody did.
Well, they all have families.
It looks like it has potential. It keeps throwing me by the fact that it's named The Signal and has a similar kind of thing that they're describing as the movie The Signal. Like I said, it just threw me because like at first I'm sitting there, I'm like, is this a sequel? This seems totally different though. It's like, well, it's called the same fucking thing, so probably not, I guess. Unless they were going for that really weird, take on doing a sequel like they did for The Thing, where they made a sequel of it called The Thing.
Maybe they're trying to figure out if he was hearing the Joker and the Thief. All along the Watchtower, excuse me. It's coming from the walls! That's all I wanted to do with that.
You've been waiting for that one out.
Dusted. It's like he's gonna stop talking any second now.
Alright, so go to the video store.
Go to the video store and rent The Signal. I shall probably do so.
You can borrow my copy.
I will borrow your copy.
But you should also go to the video store and rent District B13.
Yeah, you can't, you can borrow my copy.
I own it.
Okay. Well, I can borrow your copy, you can borrow my copy.
Okay.
Okay. You can't borrow my copy, he's borrowing it.
You won't give it back, we know you.